Welcome back to Kingdom Cast. This is your host, Good Luck Chuck. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share all your social media platforms. We are here with our post-game recap of last night's grinded out slugfest. We finally got over the hump against Tennessee in the regular season, ending our 6-game losing streak in the regular season to them. We hadn't beat them at Arrowhead since 2012 at home, but we finally got over the hump, and we won 20-17 in overtime. Patrick Mahomes literally had a heavy backpack on his back, literally carried the team last night, and was able to get the dub. So before we get into all that, I'd like to introduce Kylie to the right hand of the screen here.
What's up?
It's just gonna be us two tonight. Country. He's got some obligations to attend to. Boogie, he's still on vacation or whatnot, enjoying the time of his life. But yeah, Kylie, how are you doing this evening though?
I'm good. I'm good. Victory Monday. So, not too much to complain about today, even though it was a little bit of a nail biter. But yeah, how are you doing?
So I'm great. Yeah, that game was a little stressful last night and a little frustrating at the same time. But, we found a way. So that's all that matters, right?
I mean, yeah, that's what I said. A win is a win. May not have been the prettiest at times, but pull out a W at the end of the day. We're 6-2 now. Can't be upset.
Yeah, all these are not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be some games like this. That's just how the NFL is. But if you find a way to get it done, you find a way to get it done. So,
Yeah.
let's go and get into it. To me, personally, you already know what I'm gonna say about the game plan. I didn't like it one bit. I know I get Patrick Mahomes is the $500 million quarterback. I get he's the franchise player. He's the guy that you mainly lean on in the majority of these games to get victories. But to have him drop back like 70 plus times, him throwing it 68 times, I'm not a fan of that. Because at some point, if you're gonna do that again, you're gonna end up getting this guy hurt, and that's what I don't want to happen. Like, you want this guy around, especially for the playoffs. I felt like, and here's another thing that kills me. Like, Chiefs fans said that the running game wasn't working, right? It wasn't, but they weren't calling the run plays I suggested. I was on a different platform, and I suggested against that type of defense, like you run some counters, you run like a split zone option. You basically run a bunch of A gap runs, and they didn't even try to run the ball for real. But either way it goes, we found a way to get it done. So, what was your thoughts on the game plan and having Patrick Mahomes just carry the team the entire way? So,
Yeah, the running game's an interesting one because on the one hand, you say, they don't run the ball well. They don't run the ball well. But on the other hand, they're not even really putting them in situations to run the ball. I mean, when we've run the ball and we've made it more of a part of our offense, we've been able to open up things downfield. And I just feel like it didn't work a couple times and they were just like, okay, nope, we're not doing it. And they just abandoned the run way too quickly. It was neither Clyde nor Pacheco or McKinnon were really getting anything done. I do feel like there were a few screen opportunities where they would kind of get going and we would see a little luck there. There was some great ones by McKinnon. So overall, I didn't prefer the lack of a running game. And then I do like Kelsey did great. He went over 100 yards. He had a great. They were covering him so tight and double coverage and all these other things on him. And it was just hard for him to get open. And he is amazing and still did great. But I just felt like we weren't going to the other receivers enough either. So I just feel like play calling all around, I questioned a little. So.
Yeah. Travis Kelce, he had himself a game. He got his numbers in production and everything. But there was a point in the game where I felt like the Titans defense was getting his head a little bit because I saw early on David Long, he tried to think he was going to punk somebody the entire game. He tried to get in Travis Kelce's head a little bit. And it got to a point where, on little scuffles after the play and stuff, Kelce kind of lost some concentration a little bit because he had some lapses. He did have some lapses. And I got frustrated at one point. I put out a tweet saying, look, as great as Travis Kelce is, I know Tony Gonzalez said some crazy things about the organization, whatever, but skill for skill and what I saw on the field, I can't put Kelce over Gonzalez all the time. But that's just me personally. But that's not. But that don't take away from Kelce's greatness at all. But I haven't seen. I didn't see Tony Gonzalez have these kind of lapses as far as like drops and everything. He was more short-handed in my opinion. But that's beside the point,
Yeah. Personally, I feel like it was more towards like the second half of the game where Kelsey started to really not be able to get open as much. And that's when we were seeing a lot of that frustration. He had the one tipped pass, which became a pick. And I think that obviously really got him down. But what I love about this Chiefs organization, what I love about this team is that they continue to go back to him. And I get that Kelsey's Kelsey, but I feel like even in other area or when we've had other receivers who've made mistakes, they go back to them. And this was one of those nights where I was kind of like, okay, we keep going back to Kelsey. Like, let's mix it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know Sport Voice, look, man, we're going to get to the defense, okay? We're going to get to the defense, all right? But it wasn't all defense, bro.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that, all right? And, yes, he did miss Kelsey open in overtime.
Yes.
Yes, we definitely saw that. Like, I ain't going to hold you. Like, Mahomes, he wasn't at his best. I mean, I'm not saying the dude was perfect. I'm not saying that. But given the game plan that I didn't agree with, given all the circumstances that we had to deal with, we found a way to get it done somehow, you know. But moving forward, I don't want us to have to do that again with Patrick. That's all I'm saying.
Right. And I feel like as it pertains to Patrick, I think with Patrick, though, personally, like, I did question his decision making at times. It felt like he would cock back. He wanted to throw it, and then he wouldn't. And I don't know if that was more a representation of like the wide receivers not being able to break apart and get any separation, or if he was just not trusting some of them. So I don't really know what that accounts to. But I also feel like he didn't really have a ton of time in the pocket. I mean, I don't feel like our O-line was that great. And I feel like between Wiley and Orlando Brown Jr., he had a hard time. And he was sacked like 4 times.
Yeah, Mario Edwards Jr. had himself a game on that defense line. And Jeffrey Simmons, he balled out too. He showed why he's still one of the best interior linemen in the league. But, you know, it was great seeing Patrick Mahomes put him in the dirt, though, when he ran in for the touchdown. You know, it was great seeing that. But But other than that, yeah, Tennessee, they play tough, man. They play tough for sure. I mean, you definitely got to give credit to their defense for making us work for everything. But before we do get into the defense, I know I saw Mr. Austin here saying he was done with Hardman, and
whoa.
I mean, what? Here's the thing, like McCole. I mean, I really didn't see anything major. Like, did he really make a big mistake out there last night? Because I remember, like, late in the fourth quarter, there was a controversy talking about Mahomes missed Hardman or whatever, but Bobby Stroop, he cleared all that up, said that the safety was baiting Hardman, and I did look at it again last night, and I was like, yeah, you know, Kevin Byard, he might have been trying to bait Mahomes to that throw, because Byard's so good where he can recover and get to that spot and pick those type of passes off. So there's that. But
I don't know I don't know how you could be done with Hardman. He had a touchdown last night. He was definitely played a part in that last night's win.
Right.
I know he had a drop pass, a pretty crucial one, to be honest. I mean, we ended up with a win, but those are going to be some of those plays where you're like, I mean, that could be a difference in a ball game. So I don't know. I'm still a fan. I'm still gonna rock with Hardman.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Hardman played all right last night, in my opinion. But yeah, okay, Sport Voice. Look, y'all played the Panthers yesterday. Who are the Panthers, bro?
Get out of here.
Get out of here, bro. I ain't putting no more of your comments on this stuff.
No, we're done.
We're done with you for tonight. But anyway, yeah, Hardman, yeah, I do remember that drop, Robert. He did let a ball get off his chest. You know, the ball wasn't in between the 1 and 7. But other than that, I thought he played all right, man.
And I think if they continue to do those, get him in give him the ball in space, and he gets those jet sweeps and all that, like, he continues to show like that's where he thrives. So if they can continue to drop those plays for him, I think he's got like 7 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's got like, I don't know how many yards he has, but he's doing well. I think I'm pretty happy with him.
Right. Kadarius Toney, yeah, let's talk about it. It's limited snaps. I did like what I seen. You know, he didn't get much action, but I do remember like his main highlight of the night was when he picked up that blitz. He put a chip on somebody. I can't remember who it was, but he flattened them pretty good to the ground. So, you know, there's that. And that's how you earn snaps on this team. And I feel like Tony's gonna be involved in this offense more often, quicker than expected. It seemed like he's starting to pick it up just based on this first game. But we'll see what happens moving forward. But I think he can be a intricate part of this team as we make this run towards the playoffs. So
Yeah, I liked what I saw. I was very surprised to see them go to him. I think he was the first play of the game. They went right to him. I was really surprised, but I also liked what I saw. I thought he did a great job taking opportunities when he was handed them. And I think, look, I think it's one of those things where it's like we have another weapon now. So get it out there. Don't really give him too much on tape, but let him know, like, there's another guy here that you need to pay attention to. Like, we're going to throw to him. He's not just going to be this guy that's going to sit in the background like, Josh Gordon was last year, or even Sky Moore's been so far. So I think it was good for them, for other teams to be like, oh, wow, they do have another weapon.
And on top of that, Tony is a young guy. I mean, Josh Gordon, he was well past his prime that he had in Cleveland. Like, this was the guy that was in and out of football. But Tony, he's still a young guy. He's been involved in football. He's still been getting himself ready, despite, him and the Giants not seeing eye to eye. You know what I mean? But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table once he gets the full amount of snaps. But let's talk about Juju, man. Juju had another solid game. He had 10 catches. It was only 85 yards, but, it was a couple of third down catches that he made. And, he made some catches to where he took some hits and, just hung onto the ball. He did his thing. I think he only had one drop as well. But other than that, he's been pretty productive. So, and there's a question that's been floating around with Juju. Like, is Juju for certain that he's going to be on this team moving forward? Like, after this year is up, is he going to get a new deal with us?
I mean, I would say extend him now because the chemistry continues to build each week consistently. I mean, he is the most consistent receiver outside of Travis Kelce. Like, he's solidified himself as wide receiver one. He continues to get better with yards after the catch. Like, I really liked what I've seen. I would love to extend him. I don't know what he's thinking. I would hope he wants to stay in KC. If they can come to an agreement, that would be great. We have to re-sign Juju. I would completely agree.
Yeah, I think he's done enough to this point. And, me and Boogie, we talked about it before the season. Like, they was disrespecting his yardage prop before the season. I think he's going to run right through it. He'll get I think he's going to end up with 900 or more. And I think that's pretty decent.
What does he have right now on the year, on the season?
True. I could pull it up real quick.
I'm not sure, but I definitely think he's proven. I mean, he's got what? He had 10 catches yesterday, 11 or 12 targets, yeah.
Him and Travis was getting peppered with a lot of targets. Travis had 17 targets, but Juju right now, he's at 582 yards and 2 touchdowns on the year. I mean,
we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So
no,
he may be able to get 1,000. He may be able to get that 1,000. So, and I think I said that Juju was going to get 1,000 before the season started anyway. So,
well, there you go.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you. We're on top of it now. So,
yeah.
Yeah, if yes, he didn't get that involved in this game yesterday. But he's been doing all right for his role. I mean, I feel like he's doing better than what he did in Green Bay. So there's that. So,
do we think yesterday though? And I don't know, but did Tony get some of those snaps that MVS normally gets?
Just a little bit. I mean, I have to really look at the snap count chart because I haven't looked at Nick Jacobs' post, because Nick Jacobs, he normally has the little snap count chart from the game, after the games and stuff. So I really have to look for that. But if that's the case, I mean, I feel like he didn't really cut in the MVS that much, but you may have a point there. He might have did cut in the MVS snaps a little bit. So.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's just yesterday's game. I mean, I know throughout this season, he's been like, he'll have a hot game and then kind of be like, where did MVS go? And then I'll have another good game. And, he's kind of been a little inconsistent in that sense. So, I mean, I get people's frustration, but when he shows up, he shows up. And I think with our wide receiver depth, like Patrick was saying at the beginning of the season, like every guy's going to have their day.
Yep. And right now, I'm looking at snap chart now. Tony only played 9 snaps, which is about right.
Oh wow.
And MVS played 71% of snaps. So, so yeah, like that's it. Didn't cut into it too much, you know. MVS, I mean, he may have played a little bit of a higher percentage before, but he still had plenty of snaps, in my opinion. So it's just that he wasn't that involved in the
Yeah.
game plan. It is what it is. All right, but let's talk about the defense, though. Defense, man, like early on, you know, Derrick Henry did his thing. You know, he's still one of the best running backs in the league. He got his 2 touchdowns early on, but in the second half, a major adjustment I noticed. I Spag saw what I saw with Derrick Nottie. Derrick Nottie was getting blown off the ball pretty bad, and he put Khalen Saunders in there, and Khalen did his thing. Khalen was a monster. So, and Derrick Henry, he didn't really do much in the second half. He was pretty quiet. I think he was held like under 30 yards rushing in the second half. So, um,
Yeah.
defense did their thing. Defense did their thing after that. And I know people are going to talk about, you know, Malik Willis is a rookie, you know, he's inexperienced and all this other stuff. But it is what it is, man. I mean, injuries part of the game, and they invested their future in him. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, so I was obviously it was very frustrating in the first half to watch our defense get ran all over. So to see them come out again, which props to Spags, he continues to make adjustments. These are
Carlos Dunlap, yep.
Yep, Carlos done that, but he continues to make these adjustments, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's making adjustments, and it's working, and that's crazy because these are things I didn't see from Spags last season, or it would be like too little, too late, and so I really love to see that. I also feel like they were kind of stacking the box more in the second half, so adding a few more men in there and stopping with the double or the two shell coverage. So I mean, I don't know why they were doing that in the beginning in the first place. You knew
Right.
he probably wasn't going to throw, but oh well. And then I feel like, yeah, it was Malik Willis. He's a rookie. I get it, second starting game. I get it. But once he discovered that he could start running the ball, like they kind of threw us for a loop there. And so it was like, oh, an adjustment because not only are you looking for Derrick Henry, but now you're looking for Malik Willis. So it took us a second to adjust to that. There's one play, I think Nick Bolton or something had a really big play towards the end with him, and then of course at the end of the game, just Saunders coming in and like Dunlap coming in, and it was great. So props to the defense. The defense came to play in the second half. I love seeing those adjustments.
Yeah. Now, I'm not gonna say too much about the linebackers. I mean, the linebackers did their thing. Let's go to the secondary. Trent McDuffie. You know, again, I know it's Malik Willis. They hasn't thrown that many passes so far in his NFL career, but just from what I saw, you know, just looking at the little bit I'm able to see from McDuffie, I mean, I wish they had the all 22 up by now so I can actually pay more close to attention to him from that point of view. But McDuffie did his thing last night. I mean, what you think about the kid McDuffie? Because I know he had a pass
Uh,
breakup.
he did, and I love to see. What's great about McDuffie is he's out there, but you don't really know he's out there. He just kind of is quietly killing it, which is really great. And I feel like even the same for what like the whole secondary really last night kind of just quietly did their thing. And I mean the lack of obviously we had a hard time with penalties specifically in the trenches. But as far as like getting those PIs, those easy personal or pass interference calls, like you didn't really see that. So for a young secondary, that's awesome.
Yeah, Josh Williams did have a great tackle. I do remember that, Robert. Yeah, most definitely. Everybody's second the ball out. Now, I did have some concerns about Juan. Juan, he didn't really have a great first half. I know Boogie was in the chat talking about, man, Juan out here getting beat off the ball and stuff, and, you know, but turn around a bit in the second half. Now, let's talk about your boy Justin Reed, because I know you're a big fan of his. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's been going on with him lately in the past few games?
I don't know. I mean, I know he's showing up and I see him making tackles. Last night, what actually really impressed me with Justin Reed was a couple of those where the ball kind of got away from him, the run kind of got away from him, and we thought for sure it was going to be a touchdown. I mean, Justin Reed was there to make the play. He didn't quit. He didn't give up. He made the tackle. And that was the difference in, I mean, potentially more touchdowns in the first half. But those are things that you were not going to see, that you didn't see last season. in our secondary. Like that would have been a touchdown right away because they gave up. Whereas the energy and just the will to continue to play until the play is over, like you see that with Karlaftis, you see that with Reed, you see that with Bolton, you see that with this entire defense. And that's what I really loved about Justin Reed, setting an example like, we're not going to quit on this play. I'm going to make this tackle. And he did. And that was like 2 or 3 times he did that.
Yeah, I did see those 2 different occasions, at least what I remember for last night. He did save some touchdowns. So, I mean, there is that. You know,
What
I
do you
know.
think?
Yeah, but I know there's been like, you know, a couple of games where, you know, he might have misdiagnosed the play and he kind of got out of position a little bit. But, you know, overall, the defense has been a big reason why we in this ball games because really, like, we look at it, both of the losses that's been on our record this season has been due to the offense. The offense sputtering and, you know, just trying to depend on, you know, Mahomes a little too much, questionable play calls and short yard situations, all that stuff. So, but there's another thing I want to talk about. You know, Jalen Watson, he got hurt last night, but Coach Reed this morning, he said that he really just got dirt in his eyes, like it wasn't really nothing serious. So, you know, I guess that's good news then, you know. So. Because I definitely was concerned about the young bull. Because I was like, man, we just got McDuffie back, and now our late round bull getting hurt. That was crazy. So.
Yeah. Do you feel like Frank Clark was missed last night? I know Carlos Dunlap came up big, but
well, I mean, in the first half, it kind of seemed like he was missed a little bit, but you know, like we mentioned earlier, Spags making a big adjustment in the second half to get Saunders lined up next to Chris Jones. That helped us control the middle in the trenches a little more and able to fill in those A gaps, whatnot. So, but in the first half, I definitely was frustrated because, like I said, man, this is why that we need to bring in a guy like Ndamukong Suh because none of these guys lined up next to Chris Jones are able to help control the middle and plug up the gaps in the run game. But you know, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I've been saying it for the longest. I would love to have Ndamukong Suh here because I think we're going to Arizona for sure if we bring him in. That's just my opinion. And Chris Jones would be even more lethal playing alongside him. So let's see. I got a question.
Do you think?
Do y'all think
Oh, go ahead.
could be here next season, or are they going to groom Cook for his role? I don't know. It's a coin flip.
I don't think Thornhill will be here next year. I think if you look at Thornhill's season, he's been very up and down, and I think they really like what they see in this young cornerback group and with these young safeties in this class that's come in. I don't know. I don't think Thornhill will be here next year.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked by anything that happens. So, you know, it is what it is. But you had a question, and I accidentally cut you off. So
I don't know what it was. What were we talking? I don't remember what I was going to ask you. But
I'm sure.
Anyway,
I'm sure it'll come back.
I'm
sure it'll come back.
Yeah. So, what did you think of Butker last night?
Ooh,
How are we feeling about Butker?
There might be some questions with Butker, man, because ever since Butker thought he was Steph Curry when he kicked that long field goal before the half in his first game back.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you remember when he kicked the ball, he didn't look at it?
I know.
All of a sudden, he missing extra points and
short
field goals. Yeah, he feeling himself a little too much. So
yeah, I mean, there was like parts in that second half where I was like, just go for it. Like, I don't know, because he missed, like you said, he missed the extra point, the field goal, and he missed one. Didn't he miss one in San Francisco?
Yeah, he did.
He's been a little off lately. I still think he's great. I still want him on the team. I don't know if he's still hurt, maybe. I don't know if he's still nursing that ankle a little bit, or the Steph Curry thing got to him.
They re-kicked the short stuff.
I know. We haven't seen him kick even through all of those bad replacement kickers we had when Butker was out. They never put Reed back in.
Yeah, they trying to save him up for defense more often. You know, they don't want to overwork him. So, but
Well, speaking of special teams, are you good with Hardman running it back?
Absolutely. I mean, he got the most experience out of everybody as far as punt returns and everything. Now, I was expecting the Joker to be back there getting an opportunity, but they decided to stick to what was working in the first place. But I remember back when Harvin was back there, like his rookie year and stuff, and he had a rough time too. But at the same time, Harvin had a little more experience, still, in that role in comparison to Scott Moore. So,
Mm,
um, I'm cool with it. But I would like to see them use the Joker in that situation too, mix it
yeah,
up a little bit. So.
yeah, for sure.
He isn't fully healthy. I mean, I think he's just missing, man. To be honest, I think he's all right. I think he's just missing,
Yeah.
but he better get it
Well,
together.
I was gonna say I'm gonna need him to make them. And okay, real side note. So I had one of my fantasy leagues. I have Butker, and I was losing by like 3 points, and I just had Butker left, and the other guy had no one left, and Butker missed it. I was like, dude, I really need you to make these field goals, these extra points, and then he did. Finally made one, and I beat him by 1 point.
Woo, man.
I talk about woo. Yeah, I was like, come on, Butker. Obviously, wanted the Chiefs to win, but there was a little alternative motive in the Butker kicks for me last night.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. And speaking of fantasy leagues, I remember Boogie said that I was in a rebuilding year when he saw my roster at first, but I'm kind of near the top of the standings right now. But
Oh, is that
he
right?
yeah, he's currently losing his matchup in before he went on vacation, he apparently forgot to put Austin Eckler in his starting lineup. I mean, I don't know how he missed that one, but he still would have lost anyway. But yeah, I'm on your ass, Boogie. I'm on your ass, sir.
Well, and I actually beat Country this weekend, so
Saw that.
maybe that's why they didn't show up tonight. They just feel a little embarrassed.
Maybe, but
No.
yeah, we're gonna reveal those prizes soon for that fantasy league, whatever. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that, people, if you're in the fantasy league. So, but yeah, I wanna talk about the overtime and everything, or like late in the fourth quarter overtime, because we need to talk about another unsung hero. Big shout out to Noah Gray, because on that third and inches, I wasn't a fan of that play call. Like third and inches, you got Michael Burton in there. I mean, I would have liked it on the lead block so we can run it for the first down, because I just knew the Titans was going to sit on the little rollout or whatever. But Noah found a way to get open, and he made an incredible catch over one defender, I believe. I want to
Oh
say
my
two, but I
gosh.
think it was just one. But yeah, it was an incredible catch though. Kept our drive alive and everything. So that was another key component in our game. And as the season has gone along, Noah Gray is getting better. There's limited snaps. He's been in there blocking. He's been in there running routes and stuff. And when he's had the opportunity, he's made the best of it so far. So I mean, what do you think about Noah Gray and his progression this year in comparison to his rookie season?
I I love it. I when he made that catch last night, it was just I was thinking I was doing this, but I was you could just see the growth there. But then, like you had mentioned, blocking. I've been very impressed with his blocking throughout the season. I think if they continue to use him there, and then as Kelsey's not going anywhere. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think he's really learning under Kelsey a lot. Starting to see a little bit of Travis Kelsey in him. You're actually starting to see a little bit more Travis Kelsey and a few of these receivers as far as like going out, pivoting, turning right back around, and grabbing more yards after the catch. So I love No Gray. I'm a big fan. I am curious to see what happens if and when Blake Bell comes back. How that might change things with the tight ends. And then was Fortson out this week?
Yeah, he was out. He was inactive.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, but yeah, I don't know. Do you know Blake Bell?
I haven't really heard much, man, because I really thought he would be back by now, but I guess it's taking a little longer than expected for him to recover. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that personally. The last thing I saw, like the last week when Mac McMullen, he works with the Chiefs and stuff. He does a little podcast with Mitch Holtis. He was saying that Coach Reed told him that Blake Bell was close as far as his progress in rehab. And then Coach Reed said they'll see how he does over the next few weeks. So, few weeks, I mean, I don't know. You can say maybe 3 more weeks. if you just going by the
Yeah.
word few. So there's that. Let's see.
Well,
Do you guys think Rojo can help in short to go situations? I hate to see CH in the backfield on third and short. I mean, is Rojo even going to play? That's the
right.
thing. Because bro, he said he wanted out, and the Chiefs was like, no, and that. But now it's like, okay, you told him no, you want to keep him. Okay, is he gonna play at some point? So I don't know. I mean,
I
he
know.
can.
I mean, at this point, I feel like why are we not playing Rojo? Because we need to really address the running game. And I don't, yeah, we just really need to address the running game. Because if we're going to continue to move forward and make a playoff run, like we're going to have to run the ball and we're going to have to run the ball consistently. And right now, we're not doing either of those things. And you've seen when we do run the ball, how much better our offense looks. So, I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of like, let's see what Rojo does. Like, we need to start trying things. And if we're not going to try things with the running backs, then we need, I don't know, do we start mixing things up with the offensive line? Because I'm not impressed with how Orlando Brown Jr. has been lately. And I don't know if he's, I don't know what you do there. I don't have the solution, and I may not know what I'm talking about, but I just feel like Orlando Brown Jr. is not really cutting it for me right now. And Wiley had a tough night as well.
Yeah. The thing is this, like, with Orlando Brown. Okay, people got on me last night because I said he's getting whooped or whatever, and then they was talking about, well, it's a coverage sack. How long was the block? 5 or 6 seconds, and I'm like, all right, man. So I looked at the play over and over again, and I'm like, okay, I'll give the Titans defense credit because there was times where there was coverage sacks. You know, the Titans just had everything covered up. Receivers didn't get open. I mean, I've already said earlier in the show that the Titans defense made us work for everything, but at the same time, you can't say it's all this coverage sacks. I mean, some of it is Orlando Brown. So it's like a yin and yang, but Orlando Brown ain't played near the level of money he was asking when he was talking about Trent Williams money. Like, you ain't nowhere near on the level of Trent Williams. Like, you're not even close, bro. So
Right. Right. I'm very happy that Beach and company did not give him the bag this offseason like they were, like he was really pushing for, because I, I don't, in a prove it year like he's kind of in right now, I just feel like his level of play should be higher. And I'm thinking if they had given him the bag, what would we be seeing right now? And then people are saying, he's hurt. Is he hurt? Like, or is that just what people are like? They assume he's hurt, like, because he's not on the injury report.
man, at this point in the season, everybody hurt. We halfway through the season now. Like, everybody got some knickknacks. that's
Right. Well,
not
I've been
important.
hearing this. Well, I've been hearing that he's been hurt since week 1. So
I mean,
now he's
whatever
been
that
he's
means.
been he's been banged up. He's been banged. Okay. Well. All right.
It's like, look, if you out there, man, you basically healthy. Like, you may not be 100%, but you was good enough to play. So if you're not good enough to play, why are you out there?
Right. But I don't know. I have frustration. That's where I have frustrations. Is the offensive line.
Yeah, and like based on how our draft position is going to be in the next few years, it's like it's going to be tough to get one of them top tier tackles in the draft. Like, you really got to do some scouting to get one to fall in your lap where you at. So we'll see how it goes, man. I mean, Orlando still got time to turn things around, but man, Mario Edwards had himself a game, and Mario Edwards, he was a guy that hadn't really made a serious impact in the league throughout his career so far. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't want to just like dish hate on to Orlando Brown Jr. I was a big fan. I really wanted him to get a deal done before the season. They didn't. I gotta see more for what he was asking. And also you're protecting Patrick Mahomes. So it's like there's a little of that
Yeah, you
there.
got to protect the franchise.
Right. So yeah.
And
Anyway.
listen, and we was going off your words too, bro. You was like, I'm gonna make sure nobody really gets a hand on Patrick Mahomes, and it's not turning out great so far. So
Right. No, he had 8 QB hits yesterday.
yeah,
4 sacks.
don't like that. Don't like that one
No.
bit. But anyway, let's talk about Wiley too, because Yeah, Wiley, he has been struggling too. Now, I don't know how Lucas Niang's health is. I mean, do you at this point, like if Niang is healthy and ready to go, I mean, would you mind giving him one more chance?
I mean, yeah, I think at this point you have to. I think, like, to me, that's where our biggest weakness is right now, is within that offensive line. I'm shocked to be saying this because I thought with the lack of knowledge on what we were getting with wide receivers and what we were getting with this young defense, I certainly did not think that halfway through the season I would be like, I got questions about our O line, specifically after last season, but I do. So I think at this point, yeah, you got to put him in there and see if he can, start a change there. Or I mean, do you move Orlando Brown Jr. to the right side and then find someone else to be left tackle? Or yeah, I don't know. Where's yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, with that being said, yeah, the offensive line, I mean, they definitely could have been better last night, mainly the tackles. But overall, man, that Titans defensive line was just doing work last night. I mean,
Right.
stylistically, we've been having issues with that team for a minute, but just to finally get over that hump and find a way to get it done, I mean, that's got to be a good thing moving forward. But I just need to see better game plans moving forward. I mean, I don't want Patrick to have to just throw the ball that much and then be the only running game. You know what I mean? That was basically our running game. It's Patrick Mahomes when he scrambled out the pocket and took off. So
For sure. Yeah. Well, and I think too, like we have to think about, the teams that we're going to be matching in the playoffs are teams who went out and got good pass rush, like that have a good pass rush. And we're going to have to be able to protect against that. The Bills, the Titans could potentially, we could see them down the road. Well, the Chargers, I know they're really banged up right now, but we struggled in that game, and that was part of it. So we just got to figure out our O line.
But Caleb, I definitely agree. I mean, Mahomes
What do
can
you
definitely.
say?
He said that Mahomes can hold on to the ball long too, which he gives receivers more chances one on one. Let MVS and Juju use that size against these corners. I'm like, yeah, Mahomes, he will have a tendency to hold on to the ball a long time too, thinking he can make a spectacular play at times. But when you're that talented and gifted, I mean, that sometimes that habit does come up. But I do agree with that, Caleb. So. Just to go ahead and conclude our, analysis of the game and stuff, that overtime was pretty crucial because the offense is on the field for a pretty long time, and they gave the defense enough time to rest, catch their breath, and everything. And then, when we eventually got the field goal after going for it on fourth down, converting it, I was like, cool. Like the defense is well rested. We should be able to go after Malik, and that's what happened, man. Like them boys turned up. Shout out to Dunlap, shout out to Saunders, Chris Jones, and I can just tell. I'm like, look, Malik Wilson not ready for this moment. It's only his second start, so we need to get after him, and they did.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Man, I want to go back to overtime and then the offense. And yes, they were on the field. They were there for a long time. They were allowed our defense to rest, but not getting that touchdown down there after such a great drive. I mean, and to put them even be able to give the ball back to the Titans and put them in a position where they could possibly come back and, score a touchdown win. I get it. It's Malik Willis. I know that they struggled and our defense came up huge to stop them. But our offense stalled again in such a crucial moment right there. And happy our defense came up, but that was, I mean, I get, and I think the Titans do have one of the best red zone defenses.
Yeah, and like the Titans, they was the best third down defense in the league heading to this game. It was gonna be a battle of, I forgot what the analogy is. The movable object against the so I can't remember, but yeah, the Chiefs, they was the best third down offense in the league, and something had to give, and the Titans, like I said, they was making us work for it. So
yeah, and they played physical, like you said earlier. They played very physical, and I think we even had a few missed flags, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that too. But what I meant to say was the movable first versus the immovable object. That's what I was trying to get to. But yeah, Cleve Blakeman, man, look, this dude is getting out of hand with these penalties because they said before the game his officiating crew has through like the most penalties in the league this year, and Like I felt like there was a flag like every 2 plays. It felt like it was just getting
Yes.
ridiculous now. And it wasn't. I'm not even talking about the flags that was against us. I mean, the Titans had some BS calls that went against them too. Like it was overall sloppiness, man. And the Titans, they was complaining about Travis Kelsey, taking dude's helmet off when we went for two, whatever. But it's like I get it. I feel like that should have been an offsetting penalty, but y'all not looking at the fact, oh boy was mugging Kelsey too, grab him first. You know what I mean? So at least call it an offsetting
Yep.
penalty again.
Yeah. I mean, and they were just playing physical, and Titans were going to play physical until they were going to get called on it, and they just didn't. And you're right. It was just a poorly called game on both sides of the ball. And I feel like around the league in general, there's just a lot of inconsistencies around the league with what's a penalty, what's not a penalty. And some of them are costing games. And it's again, I'm looking at NFL officiating because there just needs to be more accountability. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this, but there has to be more accountability for them to have to be consistent, have to explain some of their calls after the game. Like it's really impacting the game.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that 100%. But yes, but shout out to the Chiefs on getting it done, man. We on to Jacksonville. And now let's go ahead and go across the league because I've seen people in the comment section, talking about Josh Allen. Now, the Bills, man, they slept New York yesterday. They jumped on New York early on, but then the Jets they fought hard. They stayed in it, and they forced Josh Allen to some terrible mistakes. And in the past few games, Josh Allen is starting to show a chink in his armor a little bit. He's thrown 4 interceptions, only completed 52% of his passes, only threw 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's reining in a couple, but he hasn't looked all that great. And now I'm seeing the report that he's getting evaluated for a possible UCL injury, and that's not good. Because I did see at the end of the game, like right before he launched that 70-yarder to Gabe Davis, they got knocked down. He was shaking his arm and his hand and everything. And like right before that, I did see that, his arm kind of bent awkwardly and stuff when he got hit and fumbled. So that's something to keep an eye on, man, because if this ain't anything serious, that could put a damper in the Bills season a little bit. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on the Bills dropping the ball yesterday and Josh Allen's possible injury?
Well, you said it could put a damper in the Bills' season. It could certainly do that because they're so reliant on Josh Allen. Not that, I mean, he's your QB1, I get that, but they are so reliant on him in the run game and in the pass game and in the run game. I mean, what did he have how many rushing yards did he have yesterday? But they can't run the ball outside of him. And it forces him to make mistakes, and he's putting himself in situations where he's going to get hurt. The situation where he actually got hurt yesterday wasn't even him running around, which is kind of ironic. But I hope he's okay. But I don't know. You never want to see a quarterback go down like that. They're going to really be hurting if he's out for a week or two.
But hell, we was using Patrick Mahomes like Josh Allen last night, and I don't want that to happen again. But
for sure.
You're absolutely right on Josh Allen. They definitely are super reliant on him. Like, at least we proved that we can run the ball with our running backs. As far as they concerned, they haven't really proved it for real that they can run with their running backs and everything. Like, they definitely more. And Josh Allen, this is the thing with him. He's talented, but he can't play under center. That's a huge difference. Like, we seen Mahomes play under center. I mean, he's been cool. Like, he at least attempts to. I mean, Josh Allen, when he go, like, do you even see him under center for real? Like, it's very rare that they use him under center. And like you mentioned, they very dependent on him to run the football. Because you asked about his rushing yards yesterday. He had 86 yards rushing on the ground and 2 touchdowns on 9 carries. So that's a huge workload. And when you're using a quarterback like that, he's gonna eventually get hurt. And you saw it yesterday. Now, he didn't get hurt running the ball. He got hurt trying to throw the ball. But, I mean, as I said before, when you overwork your quarterback like that, they eventually get hurt.
So. Yeah. And the Bills are a really great team. not trying to take anything away from them. They're a great team. And any given Sunday, and the Jets came to play, and they were able to stop their secondary was able to stop the Bills and stop Davis and Diggs, and they really put it. I mean, Sauce Gardner is amazing, so like there's that. But I mean, it definitely forced the Bills to go and run the ball, and they couldn't really do it. And then on the other side of that, the Jets were running the ball, and the Bills were having a difficult time stopping it. And Josh Allen threw two really bad picks, and that was a close game. And those are the kind of games that the Bills struggle to win. And those are the kind of games that affect your seeding down the road. And they affect whether you have home field advantage or you don't. And they have to find a way to win those close games. Because right now, I feel like it's either they're blowing them out or they're losing to a team that they probably shouldn't lose to by 3 points.
And you saw that last year with the Bills. Like, they go against these inferior opponents, or they'll sometimes lose, or they'll barely escape. This time they couldn't escape, and we know how these divisional games though. These divisional games are not easy. And credit to the Jets. The Jets, they've been balling this year, mainly defensively. As Chris mentioned, Sauce Gardner, he's playing like one of the best corners in the league already. There's another corner on the other side. His name is DJ Reed. He's been just as good as Sauce Gardner too. So that secondary playing lights out. Quinn Williams playing like one of the best interior defensive tackles in the league. You still got C.J. Mosley there. So that Jets defensive unit, they playing some ball. And offensively, it's fortunate that they still ran the ball. Even though Breece Hall, that's a big loss for them, because I feel like Breece Hall was about to lock up Offensive Rookie of the Year. But they just the Jets, they just find a way to get it done despite the inferior quarterback play at the moment. Because
go ahead.
Yeah, because I would say, like, if the Jets had a better quarterback, I mean, I would really take them more seriously as far as contending in the playoffs. But Zach Wilson, I don't think he's ever going to be it. That's just me.
I completely agree with you. I actually said that yesterday. I was like the Jets are a QB away from being where they need to be. It's unfortunate. I've seen some people kind of disagree, but
oh, sure. Well, I guess Kylie has something going on here for a sec, but I'll chop it up with y'all until she gets back. But yeah, we're basically agreeing that Zach Wilson, he's not the answer right now at quarterback. I feel like Zach Wilson was like a Johnny Manziel in the smaller conference, just based on what I saw in college, and that's just what it is. We'll see if the Jets actually take that quarterback position seriously moving forward. But I just think at the end of the day, Zach Wilson's going to cost them more games than not. So. So you doing all right? You good? You still muted.
I started choking.
Oh man. Oh no.
And I was like, send help.
Yeah, I looked at it. I was like, oh man, is she all right? Whew. But
yeah, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. We don't need anything else happening to you. So you just got back. But besides, I agree with you, bro. That's definitely a difference between us and the Bills. We find a way to come through on when these games are ugly, and the Bills, they still gotta figure out. They still gotta get used to winning. So even though they had a good season last year, they still gotta find ways to get it done in close games. So I also want to talk about. Let's see here. I want to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, they currently 7-1, and they are the second seed in the NFC, right behind the Eagles. Now, they aren't being talked about still. I saw that Kirk Cousins, he turned into He turned into a rapper yesterday, wearing all them doggone chains and that jewelry, around his neck and fingers and stuff. Like that dude out here looking like what's that one rapper? Not Paul Wall. It's a different rapper, man. I can't remember, but but anyway, do you take the Minnesota Vikings seriously, Kylie, or is it just fool's gold still?
I do take the Vikings seriously. I don't have a ton of faith in Kirk Cousins, but they continue to prove me wrong every week. I think they play the Bills next week, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so we're gonna know more then. Like, I really think that's gonna be a true test for both those teams. Is that right? Don't they play the Bills next week?
As far as Minnesota goes,
I think they play.
yeah. Let me pull up their schedule. Yeah, they do in Buffalo
Yeah,
at noon. So
it's gonna be a good one.
no, Kylie just had to catch her breath still, man. She
I
all
was choking. I still am kind of. I'm just trying to keep it together. See, I was
Yeah.
choking. I don't everyone. I'm fine though. It looks like everyone's really concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyway, yeah, I do think the Vikings. They've got a really comfortable lead too.
Yeah, that NFC North is terrible. And I want to talk about this. This is a great time for me to go ahead and slander this man because I've been saying it for the longest. Aaron Rodgers, he's finished. It's over, bro. Retired. Just go and sign your retirement papers, dog. It is over. It is clear that you can't make nobody better, dude. You gotta have the best talent around you, the best proven talent, as a matter of fact. You got a decent young talent around you, but you can't make none of these guys better, man. And you're a guy that normally owns Detroit. And for Detroit to just go ahead and shut you down and win outright, it's over. Like, it's over for the Packers, man. Like, they had a great run in that division, but they are done.
Yeah, they can't come back from this. I don't think. I think it starts in the locker room, and they don't have it. Aaron is not.
He's not a
He's
leader.
not committed.
He's
He's
not a
not a
leader.
leader. He's not committed. He wasn't committed at the beginning of the season. He's not committed now. And I mean, I I don't want to say that he's a bad quarterback because I don't think that he's a bad quarterback. I think he can still throw, but it's more than that, and he doesn't have it right now.
That man overrated. That man overrated as hell. I'm sorry. I mean, he's had the art talent this entire time, but his arm strength is dying down a bit, and he doesn't have the same zip on his passes like he used to. Because I remember on one, he tried to hit Torrey deep for a touchdown, and it fell short. And in the past, like Rogers passes don't get tipped at the last minute like that. Like, it's clear he's on a decline. So let's see. I mean, Rogers has owned
Yeah,
the Cowboys in the past, but I don't know. I don't know now. So
yeah. Do you think he'll retire after this season if they don't pull it together?
I mean, he needs to, but I can see him trying to play still. So I mean, we'll find out. I mean,
Do
he's a. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what point do you think the Packers start throwing games,
I'm
or
gonna,
just? I don't want to say they're throwing games, but at some point you got to start thinking about next season.
yeah. I really don't know. That's really hard to predict. I mean, right now they are 3-6, so I mean that is a thought. But then again, the NFC. Let's see the NFC. Let's see who we got here. We got the Eagles. You got the NFC East with the Cowboys and the Giants. You got the Minnesota Vikings. You have the Niners, and you got the Seattle Seahawks. Surprisingly, they lead the NFC West right now. And then the NFC South. I mean, the NFC South. I mean, that's pretty much a mess right now. But the Buccaneers can still somehow win that division. Atlanta's still in it. I mean, who knows, man? Anybody can win in that division. So at 3-6, I mean, technically they're not out of it yet, but I just have a hard time believing that the Packers going to turn things around. I feel like the team is done. And on top of that, they don't even use their running game like that. I know Aaron Jones
Right.
got hurt, I don't know if he's gonna be out for a minute. AJ Dillon, they don't really use him. This is a mess in Green Bay.
Yeah, well, and of all those, you just named all those divisions, like we could potentially see a playoff situation, a playoff scenario where there are 3 NFC East teams and 3 AFC East teams. If the
Yeah,
Jets, the Dolphins, the Bills keep rolling like they're rolling, they're all their own worst enemy. And then again, you got the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants. Like we could potentially see. I mean, a lot of people were thinking AFC West was going to be that, but obviously Raiders and Chargers, the Broncos.
oh god,
Anyway,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, so based off of that, I mean, they're 3-6. They do have to pull it together, and I just don't know if I see the Giants slowing down or the Cowboys slowing down to make room.
Right. So, but we'll see how things play out moving forward. But the last, basically, one of the last things I want to talk about is the MVP race. So, to me, right
Ooh,
now, I think the top three right now, any order, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. That's the top three for me as far as MVP. I mean, who do you got?
so you don't have Josh Allen in the top three.
Nah.
Is
Mm.
he in your top five?
Yeah, he in the top five, but three, nah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes are right up there. Tyreek Hill is an interesting one. I still think Josh Allen is credit where it's due. He's still having a great season. Yesterday was a little bit of a hiccup for him. I do think they'll get back on track. I think he can get back on track. I just don't think. I think he's got the drive to want to get back on track. So I'm going to save those 3 quarterbacks right now. But Tyreek Hill's an interesting one. The guy's on pace for what, 2,000 yards?
Yeah.
He's turned that offense around.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know I heard that Tua, he's undefeated this season as a quarterback. When he's played and all that. But without Tyreek Hill, I mean, does Tua even go undefeated as a starting quarterback? Like, that's another dimension to their offense. Their offense is damn near a juggernaut skill wise, and they just added Jeff Wilson this week. And Jeff Wilson, he had a decent performance. He got in the end zone and everything. So I mean, if Tua can stay upright, Miami, they can contend the AFC still. And they can still win the AFC East now. It ain't over. So
Yeah, no, it's not actually. So what the Bills are 0-2 in the division because they've lost now to the Jets and they lost to the Dolphins,
yep.
which
That's the
is
only two
pretty
losses.
crazy to, yeah. So I don't know who's leading that division. Probably Miami, right?
They still got Buffalo at the top just because right now the Jets in Miami and New England, I don't think they got their bye weeks yet. So
Okay.
I could be wrong, but yeah, I know I seen everybody else. They played 9 games and they got the Bills played in 8 games so far. Unless I got that wrong. Actually, the Bills are the one that got the bye week. Excuse me. The Bills are the only team that's been on the bye week.
Okay.
Everybody else has yet to have a bye week. So let's see here. Do you think Hurts numbers will be good enough to actually win it? I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, he's doing it through the air and on the ground. So I don't see why his numbers aren't good enough. I mean, Jalen Hurts has proven that he can actually throw the ball this season. Like he actually worked at his craft.
Yeah.
We saw how he didn't perform well in the playoff game last year against Tampa Bay, and he grinded and worked hard, and the dude's been balling out this year. So I think his numbers definitely good enough.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's awesome. I was a big Jalen Hurts fan last year. I think what the Eagles are doing around him is awesome. I think the way that he's also rallied the team and he's really become a leader on that team. I know it's not a leadership award, but I just think that has a lot to do with his play on the field, and he's just proven that he can be that guy for them. I personally think Patrick Mahomes is number one in the MVP race. That's probably maybe in a homer or maybe I'm biased. I don't know, but he's on track for like 5,500 yards, and that's crazy. That's incredible. So I've got Patrick Mahomes. We also saw last night. I mean, most valuable player, it's him. I mean, whenever he needed to put the team on his shoulder, he did, and or on his back, he did, and he was like over my dead body game. So
yeah, that's basically what it was. I mean, Andy Reid literally asked him to go win the game. He literally depended on him to win the game, and he did just that. And I mean, by definition of MVP, I mean there's that. So yeah, but right now I'm seeing Jalen Hurts. He's thrown for 2,042 yards, completed 68% of his passes, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. But what he's done on the ground is he scored 6 touchdowns on the ground, and his rushing yards. Let's see if I can find it. His rushing yards. Okay, his rushing yards. He's got 326 yards rushing. So I feel like those are decent numbers. But I'm with you. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, he probably would be the number one guy for me right now too. So, and that's nothing against
no
Jalen
offense
Hurts.
to Jalen.
Right, the Eagles are undefeated. They still haven't lost yet.
Yep.
So let's see. Caleb said, if Hill breaks the receiving record in Miami can somehow win the division or get the first wild card, he should win MVP. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's been a very long time since a receiver won the MVP award. I mean, he would really have to continue to be spectacular and eclipse well over 2,000 yards, I feel like, because I feel like this MVP award is turned into the quarterback award. So
for sure, it has. I think last year I really wanted it to go to Jonathan Taylor, and it didn't, and that's fine. But I would be totally cool if Hill got it, deservingly got it.
Yeah, and if I had to name somebody on defense that's contended for like an MVP award, I say it's Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can name somebody on defense to be a contender for the MVP, because I mean, without that Cowboys defense, they wouldn't be where they are right now. Because I mean, everybody was hyping up Cooper Rush and everything, but let's be honest, man, that Cowboys defense in that running game was winning them ball games. I mean, Cooper Rush, he was just out there not making a big mistake for real. But
right.
But I told him, like, y'all definitely need Dak. It's clear y'all definitely going to need Dak for this run. And I believe Dak's will be better moving forward as long as the Cowboys continue to use that running game. So,
yeah. Who do we say they play the Packers this weekend? The Cowboys.
yeah.
Yeah, the Packers are losing. I don't see the Packers winning. I keep thinking the Packers are going to win. I'm like, well, this week they'll win, and then they don't. It's real. It's rough times for Packers fans right now.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not scared of Miami if we play them in round one. I mean, it'll be some great theater. I mean, Tyreek coming back to Arrowhead Stadium, that would be something. Be a mixture of cheers and boos and all that. But I'm not scared of Miami. As long as we can hit Tua will turn that ball over. So I know they're explosive. They got explosive skill players and all that. But if we can hit Tua a couple times, we'll be fine. And if we get a couple turnovers, we just got to score off of them. So,
yeah. That's a scenario I don't know if I want to see that. I don't know if I'm ready for that drama, to be honest. But no, it would be cool. It would be cool.
Yeah. There's gonna be a bunch of storylines in that one for sure. There's one last thing I want to talk about before we get up out of here. Now, speaking of the Packers, they linebacker Devondre Campbell, he got hurt in that Lions game yesterday, and he went on ahead and talked about how the playing surface regards the turf. Like, he's saying that the league needs to really invest in grass for all 32 stadiums. Here's the exact tweet. He said, "This is 2 weeks in a row we've had players get injured on turf fields. I think it's time y'all take some of the money y'all make off of us and invest in a grass field for every team around the league. The turf is literally like concrete. It has no give when you plant." So I know Arizona, they one of the teams, they got the rollout grass into their little dome. So they roll their grass out and they grow it, and then grow it outside, give it sunlight and whatnot, and then they roll it back in. But we played Arizona earlier this year, and the grass wasn't up to par like how they usually keep it up to par. And we saw McDuffie get hurt. Now, I'm all for this idea, but it's got to be done right. Like every grass crew isn't like the Kansas City Chiefs, for example. The Chiefs, they do a pretty good job with they field as far as grass is concerned. And I know Green Bay, they've been playing on grass for I don't know how long, and they feels pretty solid. So, what do you think about that tweet in general?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, player safety is the number one priority in these games, and we've seen it affect the players. We've seen it affect seasons for these players. So I mean, I've never played on the field. I don't have a person like any personal experience, but if a player is asking for that and I think we do. I think it'd be a great idea to make so much money off this league. Invest it in the field, invest it in longevity in these players so that they can continue to have a career and can continue to make money for the league. So, I mean, yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah, for the domes, I mean, it's kind of depends. Like, I know some domes they have them downtown, and if you were to have like a rollout grass type of deal, you would really have to try to knock some space off, try to create some space for that to happen,
Hmm.
or you gotta find a way to grow the grass inside. I mean, I don't know how that would get done, but but yeah, I mean, I'm all for what the players say. The players say that this turf is causing more injuries and that the surface is not good. Then hey, it is what it is. I'm all for it, man. I mean, I'd rather them play on grass anyway. So
Well, no, for sure. I agree with you. And I feel like there's like grow lights and stuff. Like they could find a way to grow grass in a dome. They would just have to use different lights.
yeah,
It's a real thing. As a plant mom, I can tell you that's, that's a
look,
real
there it
thing.
is. There it is. There's the expert right there. So
Oh, yeah. I'm an expert on turf now.
yep, turf expert, turf grass
Turf
expert, ladies and
expert.
gentlemen.
Guilty. No, I'm not. But yeah. So,
But yeah, I'm
well,
glad Kevin brought this up. I mean, I'm glad you reminded me, Kevin. Jeff Saturday got hired as the Indianapolis Colts head coach. He's the interim. Like he hasn't a job yet, but he's the interim. Now, I want to break this down. Jeff Saturday, he's a guy that's been retired from the league for a while. He was one of the best centers in the league during his time. He played with the Colts and then he briefly played with the Packers before he retired. Right. He's only had 1 year of coaching experience in high school, and his team went 3-7 during that 1 year. So he didn't even have the time to get his kids to even build something, and now you throw them into a situation where you gotta have him coach a pro football team. Like he
right.
used to play for
Right.
y'all, but I, no, I feel like this is full tank mode at this point with the Colts. What do you think about it? What do you think about him being hired as interim?
I was shocked. I was shocked. And it all came within like an hour. I feel like we found out Frank Wright was getting fired, and then Jeff Saturday was getting hired, and it was a lot. It was a little overwhelming. It feels rushed. It feels kind of shady. It doesn't feel like it's the right person for the job, but apparently they feel differently there in Indianapolis. It is frustrating. I saw someone else pop up about Eric Bieniemy and wanting him to have a coaching position, and I mean, yeah, we all want that for him, but I mean, an interim coach isn't going to be where he's going to get that, especially in the middle of the season. So can't be too frustrated about that part.
Now, I do agree that Frank Wright, he did disappoint, from his first year on. Like, it felt like things are just getting worse and worse in Indy. And what's really shocked me as far as the Colts is concerned is that their offensive line play declined. Like, even they stud guard Quentin Nelson has declined in his play this year. So I don't know. It kind of sounds like the players just tuned out Frank Wright's message, and I feel like they wanted him out of there as well. They just didn't click. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. Yeah. I also don't feel like he's had the best luck with quarterbacks,
yeah,
which is a little frustrating and might seem a little unfair if you're Frank Wright. But yeah, no, you're right. They've definitely slid way back compared to where they were last year. And then the play calling, not getting Jonathan Taylor involved. I know he's been hurt. But in the beginning of the season, not really getting him involved as much as he should have been. Definitely have some questions. So was it time? Probably. But was everything always right for him from the beginning? I don't know. Was he ever really given a fair chance from the beginning? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you mentioned, he basically got a bunch of retread quarterbacks. Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan,
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Like, yeah, his best quarterback was Phillip Rivers, and that was Phillip Rivers at the end of his career. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not what you want. That's not what you want.
Not good.
No, no. So I kind of feel for him, but I don't know. We'll see how old Jeff Saturday does next Sunday. That should be fun.
And by the way, he tweeted about the Raiders. He said the Raiders look terrible, and he's coaching against the Raiders next week. So that should be interesting.
Grab the popcorn is all I'll say. Because who knows? The Raiders. Can we talk about them for 1 second?
Yeah, I was about to bring them up. I'm glad I was about to bring them up. I said, okay, so I call this team the Faders, because that's what they are right now. They have blown 3 double-digit leads this season. I think that's tied for the NFL record in a single season.
Oh my goodness!
They was up 17-0. Matter of fact,
to the Jags.
Yeah,
hold on to the Jags.
Yep, to the Jags, and they had a big lead on us too. On Monday night.
It's true. Yep,
and then the one other game, I'm trying to remember what the other game was, but they blown 3 double-digit leads. So, the Faders, man. Look, Josh McDaniels, people was hyping him up as this so-called quality coach and everything, but the dude's a glorified offensive coordinator. He's not built to be a head coach. He's not a leader of men, and it's showing. So I mean, what's your thoughts on the Faders?
Oh, I don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, of course you don't like them, of course, but
I don't like the Raiders, but that's neither here nor there. I've never really been a big Derek Carr believer. I know Devontae had a great game yesterday. He had one of his best games, I think, with the Raiders, but of course they still lost. So I think there's something to be said about not being able to hold those leads, like you said, blowing 3 leads like that. Like that's, I don't know, to the Jags, to teams that aren't even, to us obviously, but to me, the Jags aren't a great team. And for them to be able to come back, because what was the final score? 24-20. So the Raiders ended up not scoring more than 3 points or something in the second half.
Yeah.
And let the Jags come back. And I think that says more about their defense. I think that says a lot about what they're doing as a coaching staff, and then the lack of leadership on the team to be able to, and the lack of championship experience, maybe not really in situations where they can hold leads and win games.
Yeah, there's also that. But it's just mind-boggling because this was a team that was about to be out of it last season, like kind of around this time. But then they turned it around with the interim after John Gruden was let go, and they found their way to the playoffs. Now, I felt like they got robbed in that game because the Bengals, I feel like there were some questionable calls in that game that led to them possibly losing. But at the same time, they had the ball last. They had the opportunity to win that game at the end or go in overtime and whatnot. But, yeah, here's the other loss. I found. They had a 20-0 lead against Arizona. I remember that because there was fans in the stands popping bottles thinking they already had the game wrapped up.
That's right. Yeah.
Too early.
That's so funny. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so Raiders fans, hold your celebrations to the end of the games. Learn from the Titans, because last night they celebrated a little too early. If you remember, Chuck. But hold your celebrations to the end of the game. It's a long game.
Goodness. Oh my goodness! Like these teams still have not learned.
They don't. As soon as they did that, I was like, well, there it is. When I was like, we're down 8 and you do that? No.
Yeah, we know what happens next. So,
yeah, seen this before.
Let's see here. Y'all see that tweet said. Broncos hired Frank Wright. Hey,
could you see it? Yeah.
Oh
Dead.
man, this that'll be like another retread quarterback. So you're gonna be coaching up Russell Wilson. That's another retread.
Yeah. Oh God. Hackett's
Oh
bad though,
man.
so who knows? They'll probably figure. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Anything to continue to make the Broncos terrible, I'm with it.
Exactly. Exactly. And just when I think they have a good decision, it just turns out to be terrible. So I'm
Yeah,
all for it.
yeah. I feel like Frank Reich is starting to be more the glorified offensive coordinator, quarterback coach territory too. So hey,
Yeah.
if they want to go ahead and go forward with that, I'm all for it.
I'm not gonna stop them.
Right.
Go for it.
Yep. So that's pretty much going to conclude our show for tonight. You got anything else, Kylie, before we get up out of here?
I don't think so. I'm gonna go watch the who is it? The Saints and the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm currently watching that. Baltimore's up 7-0 right now,
Yeah.
second quarter.
So yeah, excited. Gonna watch that and get ready to talk a little crap on the Jags all week as we prepare for that game. So
Yeah, that's one team where we haven't really had issues with in the AFC South, along with the Texans. It seems like we handled those teams all right. Now the Texans, they have had a couple of games where they beat us here and there, but we've done all right against them. And I feel like the Colts and Titans have been our toughest matchup,
for sure.
but somebody tweeted about the AFC South record that we have, and it's right around 500 for the most part within these past few years. So the AFC South, they've been a bugaboo. They've been a bugaboo. So
It happens. Hopefully we don't struggle on Sunday. So
yep, it's
it's gonna be
actually a
fun.
noon game. It's actually a noon game. So you got your noon games back, Chiefs fans. Some of the Chiefs fans was complaining.
Uh,
So before we go, let's go ahead and get our word from our sponsor here. Still got the starter jackets out right now. Kylie owns one of those. She
oh,
was
it's so
rocking it.
comfortable.
Yeah, I bet it was comfortable shoes. So yeah, jacket look fly on you for sure. So got that going on. Got the crew necks out right now. Got the old school crew necks out. Welcome to the crew. Old school vibes from the catalog of your throwback NFL dreams. So go ahead and shop for those. And as far as they special for tonight, they got free shipping on orders of $25 or more. So yeah, pay homage, pay respects. Go and copy some gear from homage.com.
Yes.
All right. So with that being said, that's going to conclude our episode for tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share all your social media platforms. Until the next episode, we on to Jacksonville. We out.